If you're squeamish, you don't want to see someone's leg get broken or anything, just don't watch it, okay? I'm going to warn you right now. Just don't watch it, okay? If you haven't seen it already. Josiah, what's up, man? If you eating, I'm about to eat, but that ain't going to stop me. We're going to watch that leg break one more time.
Give him space. Woo!
Fitness Friday.
Okay, I've seen this clip circulating around a bit. It's a guy, looks like he's training with another guy, slaps on an outside heel hook, breaks it. Graphic. The reaction I'm seeing from a lot of people is like, oh, this guy's a dick. This guy's an asshole. Like, he cranked it. He gave him no time to tap. Okay, here's the thing. This is the black belt advanced division in a jiu-jitsu competition for a cash prize. You can't incentivize violence more than taking it to the furthest skill level and then offering a cash prize in a sport where there is not a lot of money. You're going to get people going for the submission, especially if it's open invite. The difference between jiu-jitsu training and jiu-jitsu competition is in training, you look out for your training partner. You don't crank submissions in training. It's a mutually beneficial environment where you're looking out for each other's safety. Competition is the opposite. Competition, your whole goal is to hurt this person. That is our martial art. You're doing joint attacks. You're putting them to sleep. It is up to you and it is up to the opponent to take care of themselves so that jiu-jitsu can be fully expressed, and it is the most honest representation of who is the victor. If you're competing in the black belt advanced division, you need to understand the mechanics of the techniques that will be applied to you so that you know when it is time to tap. If you look at the guy's defense, I'm not like knocking him or anything. I'm just objectively looking at what he was doing. He's just observing him set up the submission. He's not doing any defensive movements. And like subconsciously, I think he's just waiting for it maybe to not work. But this is the most advanced division. That shit's going to work. Understanding the mechanics of the submissions that are going to be used on you in your division is super important, because this man should have tapped way sooner, especially if he's not using defensive measures. I don't know if he should have been in that division personally if those submissions are allowed and he's not. He doesn't understand them enough to know when to tap. That's my 2 cents on it. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback on this, but I competed for a very long time, and competition, jiu-jitsu competition is no joke. People are trying to hurt you, so you gotta protect yourself. But that's it.
Let these guys work. Give them space. Woo!
I'm gonna keep chewing, guys. Don't give me a second. This Costco pizza good. What's Smasher? What's up? Shout out to Costco. That pizza. Mushmaster says, but he didn't have any time to tap. I respect Don Bell, but I don't really agree with this. And I'm okay with people not agreeing. That's just life. We're gonna have disagreements, as long as we can have a dialogue. He shared his opinions. Let me read what he said, and I'll throw my words in there too. Says dick move or fair play. Can you guys see that? Let me move it up. Keep scrolling if you're squeamish. A little bit of context. This is a black belt advanced jiu-jitsu competition. It was brown and black. It was not just black belts. With a $1,000 cash prize. In this clip, we can see one man suffered a devastating injury due to a leg lock that was executed to completion. This begs the question, is this appropriate behavior for jiu-jitsu competition? How far are you meant to go with your submissions when you're competing in jiu-jitsu? First, I want to say that this injury is tragic. That's what they say before they blame you. They victim blame. I've heel hooked people at the highest levels and didn't injure them. Yeah, how are we injuring? How are we not getting injured? They just, yeah. I mean, it's clearly the other dude's fault, but they're not really defending him, but they're kind of blaming the other dude that didn't know what was going on. Tragic. Injury was tragic, and in no way am I trying to bring negative light to these competitors. We probably should. I would. That's what I did with my channel. I was on that dude's channel. I was like, who is this guy? Who is this dude for Checkmat? I was like, where is this guy training at? He trained with the Checkmat. He trained with what's the kid that won lightweight? I can't remember his name, bro. Mateus Gabriel. Apparently he be breaking people off too. That karma catch up to you. It says, but I think it serves as an example to for others in framing competitive martial arts and what is expected of you. I'll get back to that. Don Bill, I'm not trying to attack you, Don Bill. I just don't agree. After competing for well over a decade at the highest levels of jiu-jitsu, I'm going to tell you the biggest difference between training jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu. When you're training in jiu-jitsu, it is your job to look out for your safety, for the safety of your training partners and the people around you. When you are competing in jiu-jitsu, it is your job to look out for the safety of yourself. This means recognizing danger and using the verbal or physical tap to stop action and relinquish victory to the opponent. You should not compete in a division where you cannot recognize the danger you are in. Also, being aware that when you compete, there's always a risk, even with the ability to stop action at any time. Jiu-jitsu competition is meant to be an arena to test the fullest expression of a martial art, where the sole goal is to control or incapacitate them. What kind of jiu-jitsu he doing? Why are you talking like this? Well, he trained at Atos. You know how the people at Atos be. So take that with a grain of salt. If they train at Checkmat, Atos, some fight sports, you're not gonna get the same level of care and and empathy. You're not getting any empathy for people that train at fight sports. Man, brother, why are you going so hard, man? They don't say that at fight sports. They just fight until you get paralyzed. They go so hard you get paralyzed. You're gonna get paralyzed and they blame you at fight sports. They paralyze you and it's your fault. All right, let me keep going. Jiu-jitsu is meant to be an arena to test the fullest expression of a martial art, where the sole goal is to control or incapacitate them. Is that true? I never heard about the incapacitate people. I thought you're just trying to win within the rules, get a submission, and the whole point of submissions is, all right, I got you, bro. I'm gonna let you tap out now. But you always supposed to give people a chance to tap out. It is an excellent test of mental fortitude, overcoming challenges, preparation, and execution, and can bring a lot of direction to your practice, but it is not to be taken lightly. It's a sport. What are you guys why are you trying to incapacitate people in a sport? Some of these guys try to kill you, bro. You go out there, you think you're going to have a good time. Checkmat dude got there easily and had control. He ain't have to do all. Yeah, for sure. Look at you say it was someone else. It was a woman or a kid. That Brazilian would have done the same thing, and these guys would be here defending him. When you're training, you can see, oh, this older dude. Of course you're gonna win, Brazilian guy. You don't. He didn't have to do that heel hook. He could have done any technique. He could have gone a single leg X, swept him over, Marcelo Garcia style or something. It would have been over. It's crazy. Like a little bit of money. The money don't really change it. It's $1,000. Sound like the Brazilian dude really needed that $1,000. I'm not sure why he really needed that money, so he decided to go really hard on the older dude for no reason, and then he got kicked out. So all these people saying that was good. Well, the guy got kicked out of the tournament. He didn't make any money. I think he did get some gas money. That got this type of energy in BJJ, but won't do MMA. Yeah, why don't they do MMA? Yeah, they're really trying to beat up people. Well, go fight. You can make the $1,000. Dana White he'll give you $500 though. Go fight in the MMA or UFC or whatever. Get knocked out. So yeah, I don't understand it. I don't agree with that. I actually do like Don Bell. He's got some good content, but I don't agree with that. Even when you're competing, there's still rules. I can't slam people. I'm not supposed to. There's just rules. There's like spoken rules and unspoken rules. There's unsportsmanship. There's a need for control. You just can't be doing all this wild west stuff. And I don't know why people blaming the other guy. The other guy didn't know what was going on. That's if Imagine it was a white belt. He didn't. Basically, what the guy was, he was a white belt in no-gi. He didn't know what was happening. And you telling me a black belt, the Brazilian black belt, couldn't tell? Hey, I think I'm more skilled than this guy. All right, let me not crank it. Let me go slow. So I see a lot of people defending. Whenever stuff like this happens, I tell you guys, keep your eyes open. You know, keep your eyes open. You're gonna see some of your favorite grapplers over there commenting. And where the heck did the game go? You know, it's pretty surprising sometimes. Where the heck the comments at? Josiah, what's going on? I saw you. Sorry, Josiah. I was ranting, bro. This makes me want to get back into martial arts again. Actually, this stuff makes people not want to do martial arts. Not only is it bad for the guy that got injured, it's bad marketing. A lot of people were scared. They're scared to compete. They don't want to compete no more. What the heck is going on? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. I had it earlier. Don Bell. The comments aren't coming up. They got some good comments on there. I'm trying to find them. Why can't I see the comments? Let me try to refresh it. Hope you guys doing well. Fitness Friday. Go get some exercise, train, run, walk, whatever you guys can do. I'm trying to figure out how to get this open. Why won't it open? Maybe if I zoom out. Nope. What the heck's going on? Let me try to duplicate it one more time. I really want to read those comments. Hey, Balea, what's up, bro? Balea, how you feel about this, man? You know, some people defending the other dude, the checkmate guy. I ain't defending him, though. Oh, here we go. Oh, there are my comments. Oh, those were the comments right there. Can you guys see? Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. You're going to see some people you recognize. I ain't going to call nobody's name out, so if I say that dude or this lady, I ain't trying to name nobody, okay? Let me get a little bit of bite of pizza. But, hey, I'm over here enjoying some Costco pizza, man. Let me chew a little bit, guys, and I'll start reading again. You know this is a real live stream, bro. I'm over here eating, drinking. I want Belay to start his own podcast or live stream, bro. The Brazilian's going to come after you, though. Don't worry, guys. We got some Craig Jones. We got some Mikey. He tapped before the break. I think it was really close. It was the tap. You know, the tap where you scream. I mean, don't roll with that dude. Whatever that guy from Checkmate is, don't roll with him. Man, brother, man, he should have tapped me in. He breaks your leg. You should have tapped me in. Why didn't you tap out, man? Let's read some of these comments. One dude, I'm not going to read any. You might recognize some of the names. I try not to say the names. Craig Jones. Yeah, Craig Jones versus Mikey. Let's go. When I first saw it, I thought it was a roll at a gym, and a competitor guy went way too hard on an older dude and caught him by surprise. But with the context of a competition and cash prize, apparently cash prize means no more rules. They're going to kill you guys. Why they be trying to kill people? For $1,000. That Brazilian guy didn't get, all he got was gas money because he kept whining because he got kicked out of there. He's lucky he didn't get sued. It says, but with the context of a competition and a cash prize, that changes everything. In that case, the defender knows damn well the guy will show no mercy and should tap accordingly. He didn't know what was going on. Let's see. 1, 2, he probably, he didn't, That was pretty quick though. I mean, that could have happened to anybody. I for sure I ain't defending that guy from checkmate dude. You should have tapped. Yeah, well, he didn't get a chance to tap. Can you give him a chance to tap? Completely agree. In-house gym competition for $1,000. A little bit of money. All right, if you guys aren't ready to compete, don't sign up for these tournaments with money because somebody's going to try to kill you. Saying cash prize is misleading. This was no big check. It was a couple bucks for having won a few rounds. $1,000 cash prize was offered for this tournament. In my opinion, the organizers created an unrealistic and dangerous expectation. Hey, here's a chill. I think they said that. Dom, I think they did say that. Maybe the Brazilian guy didn't understand. Man, I didn't understand, man. He didn't say in Portuguese. Hey, here's a chill tournament. Kind of open mat vibes, but also we're going to allow anyone to join. Offer $1,000 to the winner, and heel hooks are illegal. Don't try too hard, please. Oh, he's a little sarcasm there. Yeah, fair criticism. Don't crank stuff. Isn't any sort of objective criteria. Actually, it is. Yeah, don't crank anything. That tells me everything I need to know. He had 3 full seconds. He had 3 full seconds to tap. Sometimes, you get caught off guard or you didn't register. You don't know what's going on. Dumbbell mustache, pretty. He's looking like he's Italian. Got the Italian stash. I don't know what he's going for there, but you do what you want to do, bro. I can't talk. Look at my hair. What is the guy supposed to give him? 4 seconds, 5 seconds? I don't know. Enough time to not break his shin. We all know if he gives him 10 seconds, then the guy definitely defends. Well, the thing is, the guy wasn't defending. People, they say context, but they don't even look at the person he's grappling against. So where is he supposed to draw the line as a competitor? I don't know, the point where he doesn't rip people's legs off. I've seen blue belt comps with cash prizes, and I was thinking, dude, someone is definitely going to the hospital. Yes, win 100K, or not 100K, win $1,000, 1K, but possibly get tens of thousands in medical bills and never walk the same again. No thanks. What I'm seeing with this video, a lot of people are getting scared of jiu-jitsu just from watching this. So nobody's really addressing that fact. All they think about is winning. They don't think about how the sport looks or how this is going to affect people outside looking in. A lot of people in this sport are pretty short-sighted. That's actually not true. A lot of the competitors are part of the community and would come to the coop to train. The person who applied the heel hook took it to another level. I competed in the white through purple belt comp for $500, and the expectations were set early on, and no one got injured. $1,000, you're right. There isn't enough money. That's a small number of months for gyms. Exactly this. Also, it was said. Excuse me. Also, it was said that the referee could stop the matches at any time in case of danger. Man, I can't talk. It's clear that the hurt guy was not defending. That match should have been stopped earlier. Fine, but don't sign up if you're scared or tap earlier if you're scared. It's advanced divisions for a reason. As far as I remember, the guy that got his leg destroyed, he was just trying to support the gym. He didn't want to do the tournament. He just wanted to support the gym. Make sure they had some bodies. And then he ended up getting his leg destroyed. I always tap early. You think that Brazilian guy going to let you tap? I don't blame you for that. They shut it down and kept the cash. If you believe... Costco Pizza got me. If you believe it's the responsibility of your opponent to give you grace in a competition and slow down their application can't talk, guys, sorry, and slow down their application of a technique for you, please do not compete in jiu-jitsu. Which I don't agree. There's always a level of sportsmanship. If you guys want to use these kind of rules, just go to MMA. Go to MMA, break people's legs. At least the people in MMA got healthcare. Well, UFC guys. I'm not sure about the other people. But even, ADCC or IBJJF Worlds, there's still a level of control. You're gonna make sure you got that submission locked in. But I mean, very rarely do you see someone get injured. Usually they're defending something too long, and that's how they get injured. But usually people always give you time to tap out. Even like the heel hook stuff, you still need to control it. Why are you guys competing like you have free healthcare? I can't compete like that. This is the real question. I absolutely am not training or competing beyond a certain level until my healthcare situation is way better. Until I can respawn until I can respawn a new knee immediately, I'm tapping like chicken. That $1,000, but tens of thousands in medical bills. Nope. Always think that. Hey, Victoria, what's going on, girl? Free in the UK. I wouldn't want to be incapacitated for a minimum of 6 months and probably ACL surgery, even with the NHS. He tore his tibia and fibula. Are those the bones there? I might be wrong. Whatever, 2 bones in your leg, your shin. Especially if the cash prize is ridiculously low. Honestly, competition shouldn't be run without liability insurance. Somebody getting sued, possibly. For real, especially for probably a local tournament, get an injury that will change your life forever and the way you practice your favorite sport. Could he have applied the submission more slowly? Yes. Could the other guy have verbally tapped faster? Yes. He waited until his leg broke the tap. It's a good reminder that none of this is a game. Best comment so far. Both played a role. No one to blame. If you roll with some of these people, be careful, bro. They got no sense. they gonna hurt you, tear your leg off, and blame you for it. I want to know why I yelled the moment Jiu-Jitsu Giant touched. It says, want to know why I yelled the moment Jiu-Jitsu Giant touched my leg when 500K was on the line. That's why. Honestly, I heard a tap before the break. Watched several times. What got me is that, why did the dude look at the camera? Can you guys see that? Let me switch over. Why did he look at the camera? Was he planning on doing that earlier? I just really wonder. He looked at the camera. Is that a Gen Z thing? Yeah, but like millisecond before there was a literal break. Same here, definitely verbally tapped, and then the break happened a split second later. No, let's not start that. You hear the snap as he's pronouncing P in tap. He had 3 business days to tap early and roll again. The guys that say that, they don't even roll themselves. That's like buckling your seatbelt in the middle of a car crash. Well, the car is an inanimate object. That dude made the decision to destroy that guy's leg. He looked at that guy and he said, I'm going to destroy this guy's leg. I'm going to make sure this guy has to pay several $1,000s, tens of thousands of dollars in medical fees. Somebody said they're going to call ICE on that Brazilian guy. I'll call. Sorry. Things are already set in motion that cannot be stopped after a certain point. Then you have shit control and should probably stay off the mat. Oh, yeah, some of these guys, I don't trust most of these people. Anyone fully trained on that heel hook knows what's about to happen and should have full control not to let that happen. Usually you just hold it and people tap out. A lot of people are in here playing patty cake jiu-jitsu, and when it comes time to submit a joint lock, you need to have legitimate breaking mechanics or people will not tap. Bro, this dude's 40 plus years old. Why don't you do that against a young competitor, your skill level or better? The reality of competitive jiu-jitsu, I love hobby jiu-jitsu, but people don't understand in competition, if you can't actually threaten to break the joint, people will not tap. Yeah, but you still got to control it though, Dom. Imagine everybody got their leg broken. There would be no more competitive jiu-jitsu. Tapping when you know you're caught. Tapping when you feel pain. Oh, the different emojis. I've been in the other guy's position where I didn't want to tap and knew I should have. Hard lessons are hard forgot. I hope he recovers and gets back on the mat. Probably not. The way you guys talking, he probably should stay off the mats. I strongly disagree with you, my brother. Because if this was a training, why go 100%? Training is for perfecting the submissions, and you don't need to go full aggressive in training. It was a tournament, that's true. Victim blaming with Don Bell and my morning coffee. Yeah, I'm usually not going to blame the victim too much, especially when they seem to know what they're doing. A lot of you guys are black belts out here. You roll with people of different skill levels, and they don't get injured every day. Everyone's favorite Friday morning activity, 3 seconds from when his heel was looped and he started zero defense. He didn't know what was happening. You couldn't tell that dude didn't know what was going on. Jiu-jitsu is about control. Breaking someone's ligaments and limbs on purpose goes against the spirit of the sport. I agree with that. I don't believe he was given enough time to tap. I agree with that. Someone describe the injury so I don't have to see it, please. That's what I should have done. A lot of comments on this one. This looks like an open mat. Was it really a tournament? Jesus, what was the cash prize? $300. That Brazilian guy didn't take home $300. He probably got $25 and broke someone's leg. Good job, dude. So if you're rolling with some checkmat dudes, be careful, bro. I do like checkmat. I like Jansen and some of those guys. Who else do I like? I like Lucas Leitch. I like Rosinski. Yeah, I like that's about it. Maybe. I like Leo Vieta and his brother. Position before. That was a good comment. I respectfully disagree with your overall assessment on this particular scenario, as on the contrary, I believe that an elite black belt should rarely have to apply a submission quickly. Why? Because an elite jiu-jitsu black belt, look at him, look at the camera. Why you look at the camera? I'll keep playing. An elite jiu-jitsu black belt should have nigh on perfect position before submission, with 2 other submission options ready to counter any escape attempts. This is why the phrase position before submission was coined in the sport, to remind people to not rush into a submission without stabilizing. A risk assessment first. I'm not here to discuss personal opinions on the man, but Gordon didn't even have to put it on in the final of ADCC. I've also seen many other talented practitioners at the Mundials, the Worlds, not even finish the armbar because they are not even slightly concerned of losing the submission, and the opponent taps instead. You're giving the black belt too much credit. You're giving that black belt too much credit. When 2 black belts are of equal skill, you cannot give grace in a submission attempt and give them opportunity to escape. That's true, but at the same time, you can control it. Watch Mika Galvao anytime he does a submission. Now, he's gonna lock that thing in, but you're gonna have ample time to tap out. Says yes, there are examples of calculated grace extended to opponents in competition. We can name a ton of them. But for every one example of grace, there are 20 full expression of submission mechanics. Protect yourself is rule number 1. And that when people say that, you got to realize that this is a sport, and that even when you're competing really hard, there's still some level of sportsmanship. We can't be out there going crazy and wild completely. Now, we're going hard, but there's still a level of decor. Is that the name? I don't know if that's the word. There's still some unwritten rules. I can't kick you in your knee, kick you in the head, knee you in the balls. I can't be an asshole. I still got to show you some respect. Even when I get a submission, I'm locking the submission in. I still need to make sure I take care of you. I think of some of those, say like when people go out, like say someone goes out in a choke or something. I mean, it's like, like, all right, bro, he's about to go out. Hey, bro, you still around? Okay, let me let go. You got to give people grace. And I understand these people are saying, you got to win. But listen, it was a little open mat tournament, $1,000. I understand that was some money, but that doesn't mean you got to lose all control of yourself. And we did go on that Brazilian guy's post. He was complaining the whole time. Man, they kicked me out. Man, they won't give me gas money, man. That guy, I don't think that guy was there for good intentions. He shouldn't have been out there anyway. Let me play it one more time. I'm going to chew.
Training, you look out for your training partner. You don't crank submissions in training. It's a mutually beneficial environment where you're looking out for each other's safety. Competition is the opposite. Competition, your whole goal is to hurt this person. That is our martial art. You're doing joint attacks. You're putting them to sleep. It is up to you and it is up to the opponent to take care of themselves so that jiu-jitsu can be fully expressed, and it is the most honest representation of who is the victor. If you're competing in the black belt advanced division, you need to understand the mechanics of the techniques that will be applied to you so that you know when it is time to tap. If you look at the guy's defense, I'm not like knocking him or anything. I'm just objectively looking at what he was doing. He's just observing him set up the submission. He's not doing any defensive movements. And like subconsciously, I think he's just waiting for it maybe to not work. But this is the most advanced division. That shit's going to work. Understanding the mechanics of the submissions that are going to be used on you in your division is super important, because this man should have tapped way sooner, especially if he's not using defensive measures. I don't know if he should have been in that division personally, if those submissions are allowed and he's not. He doesn't understand them enough to know when to tap. That's my 2 cents on it. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback on this, but I competed for a very long time, and competition, jiu-jitsu competition is no joke. People are trying to hurt you, so you gotta protect yourself. But that's it.
Let these guys work. Give them space.
And even like professional guys, you remember when David Cesari got his leg snapped off, or my boy Adam Bradley got his leg heel hooked. Even professional guys slip up, and those guys are professional, so they were, they got injured and had to just accept it. But just look at this guy, bro. I mean, you look at him. Does he look like he knows what he's doing? What if that was a lady and that Brazilian dude over there take that lady leg off, or it was a young kid? I bet some of these people would defend Pat Shigoli. You guys remember Pat Shigoli, the 10th Planet kid? They would be over here defending Pat Shigoli over here. So I think it's a bad look for the sport. Instead of going after the checkmat guy, they going after the other dude, the regular hobbyist guy. That's who supports most of these gyms out here. When you go to Masters Worlds, it's a dude like that that's paying for the kids to compete, and is competing himself, and is going to CJI. It's not going to be the Brazilian guy with no money. He's not going to CJI supporting the events, or IBJJF probably, unless he's refereeing. He don't have the money. It's regular guys like that. That's who your student base is. And to me, this kind of behavior, it also is kind of, I don't want to say it's elitist, but think about all these tournaments. When you start kicking out all the hobbyists from the tournaments, I don't know. It just, to me, kind of doesn't seem like jiu-jitsu, because I always thought jiu-jitsu was for everybody. You can have people competing, you can roll with everybody, you can train with everybody, you don't get hurt. That's the whole selling point of jiu-jitsu. If you do jiu-jitsu and you're a black belt, you should be able to roll with everybody. Kids, women, elders, masters, whoever. I don't know, man, but like this not a good, not the best image. And when you start saying, oh, well, you guys can't do this tournament, you're not an elite, you're not a competitor, you start excluding people. And jiu-jitsu's all hobbyists. Why are we? You ain't gonna have no tournaments to kick out all the hobbyists. Jiu-jitsu is for everyone. Yeah, well, people over here telling you that you can't. It's not for everybody. That's what I'm getting. The guy whose leg broke isn't a black belt competitor. He's a brown belt hobbyist going against a black belt. Before the tournament started, they also went over the rules and explicitly said, if you catch a sub, don't crank it. Man, but I want the $1,000, man. If you catch a sub, don't crank it. The black belt got kicked out after this, but not before demanding he got compensated for his gas money. That is not a good look for Team Checkmat. I love Team Checkmat, but you know they got a lot of dirt on them. You know when what's my man Jackson Souza? Whenever Jackson Souza got in trouble, they never reprimanded Jackson Souza. They just would move him to a different country. And I think he's back in Brazil, or is he still in Europe? You know, Jackson Souza would get in trouble. They just move him over to the next town like he was a priest or something. So Checkmat, I mean, I'm not saying the other teams are better, you know. I'm sure Alliance got some dirt too. I don't know. Balea might know more dirt than me. You know, Fight Sports, they smuggled that dude out of the country. Remember the guy that got in trouble with the girl? The underage girl? I don't even remember his name. They had that dude training on like in the back room. So yeah, our sport is wild, bro. So maybe Balea will one day come on the stream or make his own stream or something. He got too much information. Is there proof of this anywhere so we can see? I'm just curious. Well, I mean, that's the rule for that's normal rules for everything. You do the submissions within reason. Said there's a Reddit post where the guy in the vid contributes some context. Don't crank and cash prize don't mix. If you're not getting the tap, you go hard, then harder until eventually you're fully cranking it. That guy probably don't even train. It's that or don't apply the sub. Context. The guy whose leg broke responded and provided more detail on Reddit. I know links don't work in IG comments, but if you screen cap this link, some phones can let you copy. We already went over that earlier. I don't know if we'll get back on that part of Reddit. Agreed. I think there was oversight in the event, planning to not think someone would hurt someone for money. But I also think it's because most people would not do that. most sane people. You guys are assuming a lot of these guys are sane. So you guys go to this tournament. You're going to see Paul Harris. Palara is over there from Checkmat. Checkmat Palara is over here. I wish somebody had told him not to get in there. He ain't got money, bro. He going back to Brazil if he gets sued. He ain't got no social security number. He about to jump back over the border or go to Canada or somewhere. I mean, he was complaining about his gas money. He didn't care about that guy's leg. Man, I'm so sorry, man. Why the first thing he did was look at that camera? Wasn't that the first thing he did? What? I'm a pause when you look at that camera. He said, "Are you okay?" And then he went to look at his camera. Oh, what did I do? Did you see that? Did you get it on camera? I don't know, bro. Not everybody's supposed to be a black belt, bro. And being a black belt is not just about skill. I know that's what most of you guys think. It's not just about your skill. I would say morals, but that ain't the case either in this sport. Says can't trust strangers like that. Do what though? Apply the sub if you're in an elite division for money. This ain't no elite tournament. This is a little brown and black belt open mat thing. People crazy out here. If you're in elite division for money, you need to be ready to verbally tap the instant someone touches your heel. The guy who applied the heel hook made and posted a whole vlog about how unfair it was that he didn't get to continue in the competition and that his weekend was ruined. His weekend was ruined, guys. Oh, how? Oh, no. Poor dude, his weekend was ruined. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry, bro. Uh-oh. Flow Grappling just put something out. We might jump over to Flow Grappling later. His weekend was ruined. He has since taken it down because 95% of comments were unsupportive. Very Gen Z. My weekend's ruined. You just destroyed this guy's athletic career. I agree on maybe his real career, his financial career. Maybe he was in construction or something, or he had a job where he needed to stand up. For sure, he won't be standing up too much now. I agree on tapping. Always protect yourself. With that said, one competitor lacked awareness and the other restraint. It's a local comp, not IBJF Worlds, Pans, or Brasileiros. 80s it wasn't ADCC qualifiers or ADCC or CJI or any elite comp. Why doesn't he go to those tournaments and do that? It's regular people testing their skill set, whom have a 9 to 5 and family responsibility. Too many wannabes, and only a small number are the gifted ones. Everyone else is just a participant. What's wild is that he recorded it. So, that's wild. Oh, I know. Even Mr. Dubious here, Mr. Dubious Dom, posted, "Don't blame the grappler, blame the rules." I'm blaming the grappler. Whose action caused the injury? Whose decision making caused that injury that didn't need to occur? He got lit up. Dude got his tib and fib snapped, and homie's making a vlog about how his weekend was ruined. Yeah, screw that guy, bro. If that guy wants to fight me, I'll go ahead. Now, I'm not going to let him grab my heel. I'll fight that dude. He said he won his $1,000 somehow. Yeah, but say somebody did that to him, hurt his leg. He'd be crying online and stuff. Not to mention, this was an in-house submission, according to people that were there. I know the chap in the video. It was an in-house comp, but he isn't a local back. Oh, he isn't a black belt. The guy that got injured. This is a local LA get-together where people from various gyms come together to add a competition element, but always with the understanding that you're not trying to retire each other. Well, he didn't know. Man, I didn't know, man. Why didn't you tell me, man? It's his fault, man. He should have tapped. Of course, accidents can always happen, but this wasn't ADCC. He probably should have gone easier than he did. Says it is guy who got his leg broken commented on the video on Reddit. Yes, and the guy was later seen celebrating like he didn't ruin this dude's ability to walk properly forever. I heard there was money involved. If true, that is a huge reason why this happened. With no waivers, so professional. Don't invite outsiders, then have no waiver. Also, don't mind masters with adult. Don't mix masters with adults. For anyone reading this, the Coop is that's the place where the injury occurred. The Coop is a really fantastic gym. It is a high level spot for sure, but it's a safe environment. Not when Checkmat comes through. It's a safe environment to train and get better. Again, this wasn't a regular and was in a in-house comp environment. The gym has waivers. I trained there for several years. It's probably the best gym I've trained at, and I've trained all over California and Austin. I don't disagree wholeheartedly. However, just like there's a difference between training and competition, there's also a difference between competition and Mortal Kombat. These people need to go do some MMA. Go to MMA and do that. Get knocked out. There's a difference between competition. There's a difference between competition and Mortal Kombat in the streets. Maybe I'm soft, but personally, to me, a black belt means restraint, not a checkmat. Allegedly, well, from the video. To me, a black belt means restraint. I wouldn't do it, but hey, different strokes. The furthest skill level, who rips heel hooks in training? I wasn't training. I was in this bracket and pulled out last minute. The organizer repeatedly stressed that the vibe was open mat, not ADCC. Well, that Brazilian dude needed some money, and he didn't care. He over there looking at the camera. However, some people will do anything for money. People, they'll kill you for less money. Some people kill you for $5, $10. $1,000, that's not even enough for my rent. No, thank you. Dude should have tapped. It was locked in, and pressure was immediately applied. Don't expect others to look out for you, especially if they are strangers. Tap early. You gotta work tomorrow. I think the decent thing to do is release it if you know you've got it. What do you gain by hurting someone that badly in a friendly scrap? It's also important to tap early and often, but things are true. It doesn't have to be either or. Understand what you're saying, but this is obviously at a training session. You do not monetize competition. You don't crank to injure in training. It just baffles me. He's shocked it cracked with how well he doesn't understand heel hooks. I think you can take a poll on here. A poll for what? A poll for. I don't want to see anybody. I don't care what anybody thinks right now. I don't care what you guys think. You guys go on Don Bell and tell him what you guys think. I'm just reading. I kind of covered this already a couple days ago. I just wanted to read some of the comments because the Brazilian guy, he took down his post. But if you go back to the video, I did read some of the comments on there. But he took down the post. So he's gone. But he was like making his breakfast, and you see him just like he didn't really care. He didn't care. It baffles me. He's shocked it cracked with how hard he went after it. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Says, a terrible situation, bro. Also, the guy who won was DQ'd for following the rule set and submitting the guy. It's $1,000, no waivers, and they were told submissions only to advance. Not a fan of the whole leg thing. The breaking mechanics come on so quickly. The knee and ankle have lower range of motion and little muscle mass around them. The referee's instruction at the beginning of every boxing match should be heated at every BJJ match. Protect yourself at all times, tap early, and fight another day. Well, you guys know that whole slap and bump. When you do the slap and bump, that's like, all right, man, we're competing against each other, but we still got to have some respect. I think everybody's kind of saying the same thing. I don't know about y'all, but people treat heel hooks way too unseriously. When a dude has your leg like that, it's the equivalent of having your arm fully extended in an arm bar. It's not quite the same with the torque and torsion stuff. Nah, this is wrong. Just give them pressure and they'll tap eventually. This is just enabling bad behavior from you. I compete at high judo tournaments. We don't slam people on their heads or break anything intentionally. It's just people like you. Stuff does happen. But even in wrestling and judo, there's still some level of decor. You can't just be slamming people. Dom says slamming someone on their head is malicious. Is tearing someone's leg off? That's not malicious. I don't think Dom's gonna win this argument. Slamming someone on their head is malicious and also illegal in almost every competition. Applying a perfect submission mechanic is completely different. It's expressing the art. What, bro? Be careful rolling with Dom Bell too, guys. Express it safely. He will tap. You just reducing the amount of people that can participate. Never saw Gordon cranking a heel hook. Even against Nicky Rod at the ADCC finals, competition should have respect too. Yeah, if we don't have respect for each other when we're competing, then it's not a sport any longer. And even MMA still has rules, and there's some people that break the rules, like John Jones when he pokes you in your eye. But look at John Jones. Do you guys want to be like John Jones? If you guys do, then that's on you. But I'm good. Ruin someone's health for almost no money. Bro, I've been talking about this for an hour. Jesus Christ. We don't know what the Brazilians are saying. What my Portuguese people saying? If you only do free sparring for practice, why are you doing this nonsense? I'm trying to see if there's anything I haven't read. 44-year-old brown belt dad hobby boy here. When someone you don't know and therefore shouldn't trust catches you dead to rights in a heel hook, he didn't know. You tap. Just start over and don't keep getting caught. I'm with Dom. This guy may have been irresponsible with the submissions, but always on you to tap in that situation. But there's always going to be situations where you can't foresee. I brought up the situation with David Cesari where he got his leg broken. He was basically his ankle broken. He was staring at Ryan Aiken, and sometimes accidents happen. Or so you really there really has to be a level of trust between training partners and competitors. There has to be a level of trust, and care for their well-being to a certain degree. You know, a saying I always used to hear, and I tell people, don't break your toys. Don't break your toys, because you start breaking people in jiu-jitsu, you're not going to have any more training partners, and then nobody's going to want to compete against you. So I think that Brazilian's going to find that out. Probably going to have a bad rep. He's going to have a bad rep moving forward. I wouldn't want him on my show. You think he should be on UFC BJJ or Who's Number One? I mean, he don't really deserve to be on there, to be honest. But maybe they'll put him on there. Put him. I want to see him against people his skill level. Adult black belts. I want to see him have this same behavior, and I want to see him get jacked up. But that's on me. All right, I'm tired of talking about Don Bell and his social media stuff. I did 1 hour on that, bro. How? Almost 1 hour. That's crazy. Who else can talk about one social media post for 1 hour? Who else can? Who else got that much time to?